Here we go. Number 12, superhuman strength. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, probably staring at your phone, when out of nowhere a bus careens toward a group of elderly people playing mahjong on a park bench. A bus on a bench. You know, a totally normal Tuesday. But before you can even register the absurdity of the situation, you find yourself leaping into action, grabbing the bench with the speed and force of a caffeinated gorilla and shoving it, along with its oblivious occupants, out of the way. Then, as if a switch has been flipped, you're back to being a normal, phone-gazing human, your arms suddenly feeling like overcooked spaghetti. What in the heck just happened? Well, you can thank your brain's emergency override protocol. When your brain perceives an immediate, life-threatening danger, it tells your body, okay, forget the safety protocols, we're going all out. Your adrenal glands get the memo and dump a cocktail of stress hormones into your bloodstream, including adrenaline and cortisol. This stuff is basically like rocket fuel for your muscles. Your heart rate skyrockets, your breathing becomes rapid and shallow, and your liver starts pumping glucose into your system for an instant energy boost. All those signals are a one-way ticket to crazy town for your nervous system. Your brain basically turns off the part of your mind that tells you that you're supposed to be in pain, or that you could dislocate a shoulder, or that you probably shouldn't try to lift a whole park bench. It's like the check engine light on your car, but instead of telling you something's wrong, it just tells your body to get out of the way, full speed ahead. Number 11, auditory exclusion. Imagine you're the hero of your own action movie. You're in the middle of a high-stakes car chase, tires screeching, and your hands are gripped to the steering wheel like you're about to pull it off. But instead of hearing the roar of the engine, the blare of sirens, or the dramatic explosions behind you, it's eerily quiet. All you can hear is the frantic thump, thump, thump of your own heartbeat and the squeal of the tires. The world outside has been muted to a dull murmur. Welcome to the bizarre phenomenon of auditory exclusion. In a high-stress, high-threat situation, your brain has to prioritize information. It's got a million things coming in at once, and it doesn't have time to sort through all the noise. So, like a bouncer at a club who's tired of listening to every drunk person's life story, your brain just shuts out the background noise. It decides, okay, this is important, this is not. We're only focusing on the vital information right now. The threat becomes the one and only thing your brain is processing. This is a survival mechanism that helps you focus on what's most important in a dangerous situation. Think about it. If your brain is busy processing the sound of a distant ambulance, you might not notice that a car is about to run a red light and collide with your vehicle. Your mind literally mutes the world to hone in on the immediate danger. It's basically your brain deciding to stop listening to all the chatter and just pay attention to what might get you killed. Number 10, tunnel vision. Speaking of your brain deciding to mute the world, let's talk about tunnel vision. You're walking down a dark alley, not because you're in a scary movie, but because you're taking a shortcut and your GPS told you to, when suddenly a sketchy dude in a trench coat jumps out from behind a dumpster. Your eyes lock onto his face. You can see the details of his 5 o'clock shadow, the weird stain on his trench coat, even the mole on his nose, but you have no idea what's going on around him. This is tunnel vision, and it's basically the visual equivalent of your brain putting blinders on a horse. In a terrifying situation, your brain tells your eyes, stop looking at the big picture. We only care about the threat right in front of us. Your field of vision narrows to a hyper-focused pinpoint, and everything else gets blurred out. Your pupils dilate to let in more light, and your brain starts to ignore all the peripheral information that it deems unnecessary. This is your brain's way of saying, we're not taking any chances. We're going to look at the threat and nothing else. It's a very simple and very effective way to make sure that you're only focusing on what matters. Number 9. Altered perception of time. You're watching a car accident unfold in front of you. It all happens in a flash, but to you, it feels like an eternity. The shattering glass, the mangled metal, the slow-motion tumble of a hubcap, it's all happening in exquisite, agonizing detail. This is not a magic trick, and it's not some strange side effect of watching too many action movies. This is your brain's high-speed video recorder at work. In a moment of extreme danger, your brain goes into hyperdrive, and it starts processing information at a much faster rate than normal. When you're in a stressful situation, your amygdala, the part of your brain that processes emotions, especially fear, shouts an emergency alert. This triggers the release of epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine, which are basically the brain's equivalent of a high-octane energy drink. This cocktail of chemicals makes your brain more efficient. It increases your ability to perceive and process stimuli, so it feels like time is slowing down. Your brain is essentially taking more frames per second of your experience, so when you recall the memory later, it seems to have lasted longer than it actually did. It's a survival trick, designed to give you more time to react. If you're a gazelle being chased by a cheetah, you want every fraction of a second you can get to figure out your next move. It's your brain's way of giving you a few extra milliseconds to think, okay, I need to swerve left, not right, and definitely not into that fire hydrant. Number 8, the freeze response. You're walking in the woods and you come face to face with a bear. Not a cute, cuddly Winnie the Pooh bear, but a big, hairy, hungry-looking bear. Your first instinct might be to run or to yell or to do something, but instead you just stop. You stand there completely motionless, like a statue. This is the freeze response, and it's one of the most misunderstood survival instincts out there. We've all heard of fight or flight, but the freeze is an equally important and often more primitive response to danger. When your brain is faced with a threat so overwhelming that it can't possibly fight or flee, it decides to play dead. This isn't an act of cowardice, it's a strategic maneuver. By freezing, you might be less likely to be noticed by a predator. It also gives your brain a moment to assess the situation. While you're frozen, your brain is furiously trying to figure out what to do next. It's calculating the odds of survival, weighing the options, and deciding if it's better to fight, flee, or just hope the bear gets bored and walks away. It's basically your brain's last-ditch effort to save your skin when all other options seem impossible. It's the ultimate think fast move, even if it looks like you're doing absolutely nothing. Number 7, disorientation and confusion. Imagine you're on a roller coaster that's gone off the rails and is now plummeting toward the ground. In a panic, you try to open the safety harness, but your hands won't cooperate. You can't figure out which way is up, and your brain feels like a tangled mess of spaghetti. This is a common and terrifying part of the survival response: disorientation and confusion. When your brain is in a state of high stress, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical thinking and decision-making, can temporarily go offline. The amygdala, which handles your fight or flight response, basically hijacks the control panel. All the blood that would normally be used for higher-level thinking is instead diverted to your muscles, so you can run away or fight. As a result, you might find yourself doing things that seem completely illogical. You might try to run toward danger, or you might struggle with simple tasks, like unlocking a door. This is your brain essentially saying, forget thinking, just survive. It's a primal, instinctive reaction that can feel incredibly frustrating and even dangerous in the moment. Your brain is a supercomputer, but when it's in survival mode, it's like someone spilled coffee on the keyboard and now it only knows how to press one button: panic. Number 6, heightened senses, except the right ones. You're in a dimly lit parking garage at night, fumbling for your car keys. Suddenly, you hear a faint rustle behind you. Every hair on your body stands on end. You can almost feel the air shift. Your ears, which were just a moment ago ignoring the constant hum of the city, are now hyper-tuned to every creak and whisper. This is your brain putting your senses on high alert, but it's not always a perfect system. In a dangerous situation, your brain starts prioritizing what it thinks is important, and that means your senses get a supercharged, yet often flawed, upgrade. Your sense of smell might become incredibly acute, picking up on a subtle odor you wouldn't have noticed before. Your hearing might sharpen to an almost superhuman level, allowing you to hear a pin drop in a crowded room. But here's the catch. Your brain doesn't always know what's a real threat and what's not. The rustle you heard could have been a mouse, but your brain has already processed it as a potential attacker. This heightened awareness is a survival mechanism designed to give you as much information as possible, as quickly as possible. But it's also the reason why you jump out of your skin when your cat brushes up against your leg in the dark. Your brain is essentially operating with a broken threat-o-meter, and it's always set to maximum danger. You're in a fight and you take a punch to the face. You're sure your nose is broken, but you don't feel any pain. You keep fighting, and it's not until after the threat is gone that the pain suddenly hits you like a tidal wave. It turns out your nose is fine, but you're still confused. What gives? This is your body's built-in painkiller system at work. When you're in a life-or-death situation, your brain releases a flood of endorphins and other natural opioids. This is your body's way of saying, hey, you've got bigger problems than that broken leg right now. Let's worry about the pain later. The pain signals from your nerves are still being sent to your brain, but your brain just decides to ignore them. It's like putting a noisy neighbor on mute. Your brain is a master of distraction, and when your life is on the line, it just doesn't have time to deal with something as trivial as pain. This is a survival mechanism that allows you to continue to function even if you're injured. If a gazelle sprains its ankle while running from a cheetah, it can't just stop and ice it. It has to keep running, and the endorphins make that possible. So the next time you hear a story about a soldier who didn't realize they were shot until after the battle, don't be so quick to dismiss it as a tall tale. It's just their brain doing what it does best, a temporary pain-numbing service, free of charge. You're in a serious car crash. The world slows down, and for a moment, you feel like you're floating above the scene, watching yourself and the other car collide. It's like you're a ghost, observing the chaos below. This is one of the most bizarre and inexplicable survival mechanisms your brain has in its arsenal, the out-of-body experience. In a traumatic situation, your brain can become so overwhelmed that it disconnects from your physical body. It's a form of dissociation, a defense mechanism that helps you cope with an event that's too terrifying to process in the moment. Your brain is essentially saying, I can't deal with this right now, so I'm going to pretend it's not happening to me. It's a way of creating a psychological distance from the trauma, a mental escape hatch. This can also happen with severe physical pain. The brain, unable to cope with the sensory overload, just decides to check out. It's a bit like a computer program crashing when it can't handle a complex task. The brain reboots itself by creating a buffer and imagines separation to keep you from totally losing it. It's the ultimate form of denial, and it's all in the name of self-preservation. You're watching a horror movie, and the monster jumps out. You scream, but something else happens too. You feel a sudden, uncontrollable need to vomit, or worse, you accidentally wet yourself. This isn't just a sign of being a scaredy cat. It's a very real and very gross biological response to extreme fear. When your brain is in full-blown panic mode, it essentially says, we're in a life-or-death situation, and we need to get rid of any excess baggage. This includes the contents of your stomach and bladder. This is your body's way of lightening the load, so you can be faster and more agile if you need to run away. It's a primal, instinctive response that's been hardwired into our DNA since we were running from saber-toothed tigers. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, figures that if you're a little bit lighter, you'll be able to run faster, jump higher, and generally be a more efficient survival machine. It's a disgusting but surprisingly effective way to prepare your body for a fight or flight situation. So, the next time you hear a story about someone who wet themselves in a moment of extreme fear, just remember, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that their body is a well-oiled, albeit gross, survival machine. Number 2, the death grip. You're a rock climber and you slip. You manage to catch yourself, but your hands are now gripping the rock face with an iron will. Your knuckles are white, your fingers are locked in place, and you feel like you could hold on forever. This isn't just adrenaline-fueled strength. It's a phenomenon known as the death grip. When your brain is in a state of mortal terror, it sends a powerful signal to your muscles to contract with maximum force. Your brain is essentially telling your hands, don't let go, ever. This reflex is so strong that people have been known to hold on to things even after they've lost consciousness. It's a last-ditch effort by your body to prevent a fall, or to hold on to something that could save your life. It's a brutal, primal reflex that bypasses your conscious mind and takes full control of your muscles. It's your body saying, I'm not going to let go and you can't make me. Number 1, the life review. This is the stuff of movies, but it's a very real and very weird phenomenon, the life review. You're in a car crash, you're drowning, or you're falling from a great height, and in that split second before everything goes black, you see your entire life flash before your eyes. It's not just a collection of random memories. It's a detailed, emotional review of your life, from your earliest memories to the present day. This isn't a sign that you're about to die. It's a survival mechanism. When your brain is faced with the prospect of its own demise, it goes into a state of hyper-awareness. It's like your brain is trying to find a solution to the problem by searching through every file it has ever stored. It's a final, desperate attempt to find a piece of information, a memory, or a thought that can save you. It's a frantic, last-ditch effort to find a way out, and it's a testament to just how much your brain wants to live. It's not a beautiful, serene moment. It's a chaotic, desperate search for an answer. Your brain is essentially trying to save itself by binge-watching its own highlight reel. It's the ultimate survival secret, and it's a weird, beautiful, and sometimes terrifying thing. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.